Thank you for taking the time to follow Nghe An Newspaper, the newspaper's YouTube channel, and Nghe An Radio and Television on digital platforms. Now let's follow the most prominent information that has just happened. On September 25, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he would prevent Israel from annexing the West Bank as Tel Aviv considers this move in response to a series of countries recognizing the Palestinian state. He said at the White House, "I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. It will not happen." Mr. Trump also expressed optimism about the possibility of ending the Israel-Hamas conflict. Similar to the attitude that U.S. Special Envoy Steve W.C. expressed on the sidelines of the previous session of the United Nations General Assembly. President Trump said, "We are getting closer to reaching an agreement in the Gaza Strip, even peace." The statement was made by the U.S. leader after a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the conflict in Gaza. According to AFP news agency, the Israeli government is considering annexing the West Bank in response to a series of countries, including many Western countries such as Britain and France, recently recognizing the Palestinian state. The far-right in Israel believes that the annexation of the West Bank will end any prospect of an independent Palestine. When meeting with leaders of key Arab and Muslim nations at the United Nations on March 23, President Trump was warned of the consequences if Israel decided to proceed with the plan. "I think the U.S. president understands the risks and dangers involved in annexing the West Bank," Saudi Foreign Minister Sustfan bin Faan said. Saudi Arabia is considering annexing Israel, a move that could be a highly symbolic move if it goes ahead given that the country is home to one of Islam's two holiest sites. The United Arab Emirates, which normalized relations with Israel in 2020, has also publicly called on Tel Aviv not to annex the West Bank. Israel's normalization of relations with the UAE is seen as a major achievement for Trump and Netanyahu. Since returning to the White House in January, Trump has strongly supported Netanyahu as Israel has come under international pressure over rising civilian casualties in the region. However, Netanyahu has repeatedly gone against Trump's wishes, repeatedly attacking targets in Iran, Qatar, and Syria while the U.S. is conducting diplomatic efforts. On September 25, Iranian Intelligence Minister Esmail Kadi said that Iranian intelligence agents had penetrated a secret Israeli nuclear research facility in the Negev Desert. According to Katif, this was the result of a complex operation. A team from a special unit of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, URGC, successfully penetrated one of Israel's secret nuclear facilities. Katif stressed that Iranian intelligence forces had obtained a trove of secret documents about Israel's nuclear facilities. "The documents we seized from Israel are directly related to information about their nuclear facilities. These documents and other strategic files will strengthen the country's offensive capabilities," Katif said. Describing the data as just thousands of documents was an understatement of what Iran had actually obtained. Earlier in June this year, Iran's intelligence ministry confirmed that it had seized a list of top-secret documents related to Israel's nuclear sector, which Mr. Khatib described as a treasure trove of intelligence that would strengthen Tehran's offensive potential. Iran's SNN TV channel posted a video that allegedly showed Iranian agents breaking into the nuclear facility at Dimona.
On September 25, Israeli Defense Minister Mr. Israel said that the country's military had attacked the Yemeni capital Sana'a. Mr. C declared that we have just launched a strong attack on many targets belonging to the Houthi organization in Sana'a. The Israeli army attacked several barracks and killed dozens of Houthi members, destroying weapons depots and UAVs. The IDF later announced that among the targets were the command center of the general staff and the security and intelligence facilities of the Houthi. Ainsel Asbati, spokesman for the Houthi medical agency, said that the Israeli attack killed 2 civilians and injured 48. Witnesses said the attack targeted areas south and west of the capital Sana'a. The IDF raided Sana'a a day after the Houthi launched a UAV at the southern Israeli city of Elis, injuring 22 people. The Israeli military admitted that the interception attempt failed when the Elas defense team launched 2 missiles but failed to hit the target. Israeli fighters and helicopters were also unable to launch an attack in time because the surveillance network detected the Houthi UAV too late. On September 25, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, addressing the United Nations General Assembly, pledged to work with President Donald Trump, Saudi Arabia, France, and the United Nations on a peace plan for the Gaza Strip. This September, the 193-member UN General Assembly adopted a 7-page statement to promote a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine and end the conflict in the Gaza Strip between Israel and Hamas. In a video address to the UN General Assembly, the Palestinian president said, "We reject what Hamas did on October 7, 2023, when they targeted Israeli civilians and took them hostage. Such actions do not represent the Palestinian people or their just struggle for freedom and independence. We have affirmed and will continue to affirm that the Gaza Strip is an integral part of the Palestinian state. We are ready to take full responsibility for governance and security there. Hamas will have no role in governance and they, along with other factions, must surrender their weapons to the Palestinian National Authority. We reiterate that we do not want an armed state." The points raised by Mr. Abbas were included in the declaration that the General Assembly adopted earlier. However, the Palestinian leader's remarks drew criticism from the Hamas movement. Hamas said in a statement, "We consider the Palestinian Authority leadership's assertion that Hamas will have no role in managing the gas as an infringement on the Palestinian people's natural right to determine their own destiny and to choose their leader as submission to outside orders and plots. This is unacceptable." The group also said its arsenal is uncompromising. As long as the occupation remains in the country and oppresses its people, it will not be able to compromise. Meanwhile, Israeli Foreign Minister Nghe An described Abbas's speech as rhetoric against the West and accused the Palestinian leader of failing in the fight against terrorism. The foreign minister wrote on X, "President Abbas said he was ready to take over the gas but he easily lost it to Hamas in 2007.
According to John HP News Agency, on 25, South Korean President Lee Myung issued a warning about North Korea's nuclear capabilities, emphasizing the importance of denuclearization on the peninsula. The South Korean leader said that North Korea has enough nuclear weapons to maintain its regime while the technology to develop ICBMs is in the final stage. If not restrained, Pyongyang could add 15 to 20 nuclear bombs to its arsenal each year. The most worrying thing is the possibility that North Korea will export them to other countries. However, Mr. Lee affirmed that South Korea has enough military capabilities to ensure national security, while reiterating plans for lasting peace in the region. The South Korean president said, "We have the fifth largest military capability in the world, not to mention the presence of 28,500 U.S. troops. South Korea will move towards a three-phase plan: short-term containment, medium-term reduction, and long-term denuclearization of the Korean peninsula." Previously, South Korean Unification Minister Jong Dong-yang said that North Korea possesses 2 tons of highly enriched uranium, enough to make a large number of nuclear weapons. Mr. Trung emphasized that, according to estimates, Pyongyang has about 2,000 kilograms of highly enriched uranium with a purity of 90% or higher. Right now, uranium centrifuges at 4 North Korean facilities are still operating. Preventing this situation is extremely urgent. According to information from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, an average nuclear bomb requires about 42 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, meaning 2,000 kilograms of uranium can make about 47 bombs. With great strides in military modernization, China is preparing to welcome the next important milestone, which is the official entry into service of its most advanced aircraft carrier. Speaking at a regular press conference on September 25, Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman Zhang Xiaojing said that the commissioning of the Fujian aircraft carrier is not far away. The ship's tests and training are proceeding as planned. He also noted that 3 types of carrier-based aircraft, the J-15T, J-35 and KJ-600, have recently successfully performed catapult takeoffs and landings on the Fujian. This shows that the ship is capable of launching and recovering using electromagnetic catapults, laying a solid foundation for the integration of aircraft on aircraft carriers. This is an important milestone in the development of China's Fujian. The Fujian, with hull number 18, is China's third aircraft carrier and the first to be entirely designed domestically. Built at the Guangnan shipyard, the Fujian aircraft carrier was launched in June 2022 and began sea trials in May 2024. According to AMI recognition, the ship is 316 m long, 76 m wide, and has an estimated full displacement of 80,000 to 85,000 tons. It is comparable in size to the U.S. Kitty Hug class. The Fujian is also China's first aircraft carrier to use an electromagnetic catapult, a device that allows aircraft to accelerate before taking off from a ship. The ship is known to be equipped with 3 electromagnetic catapults, an angled flight deck for braked landings, and a large internal hangar. The aircraft fleet is expected to number more than 50, including at least 40 fighter jets and 12 helicopters. Expected to include the J-15T multi-role fighter, the J-15D electronic warfare variant, the J-35 stealth aircraft and the KJ-600 airborne early warning aircraft.